Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Husband!
Wife!
What are we doing today?
Well, today is actually Sunday, but we're going to pretend like it's still Saturday, so we're doing our
Q&A Saturday, but on a Sunday.
That's right. And what are we Qing and Aing today?
We are covering chapters 31 through 35 of Ezekiel.
Okay. All right. You got some good questions for us today?
I got some mediocre questions for us today.
That's not a good sell. The fuck?
I have some...
These are... What you say is these are amazing questions. Stick around and find out.
I have some very exciting questions that I cannot wait to get into.
There we go. See, I'm teaching wife how to podcast live on our fucking podcast.
I'm sorry.
It's amazing. You're right. You ready to do this?
I am so excited to do this. Yes.
Let's do it.
Okie dokie. All right, we are hopping into our Q&A for Ezekiel chapters 31 through 35.
All right.
And the first question that we had came from chapter 32.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to read you a couple of verses here, and then we will talk about what?
Okay, sure.
So we're starting with verse 28 through 31. Okay?
Got it. Yep.
You too, Pharaoh, will be broken and will lie among the uncircumcised with those killed by the sword. Edom is there, her kings and all her princes. Despite their power, they are laid with those killed by the sword. They lie with the uncircumcised, with those who go down to the pit.
Those damn uncircumcised.
I know.
Yeah.
All the princes of the north and all the Sidonians are there. They went down with the slain and disgrace, despite the terror caused by their power. They lie uncircumcised with those killed by the sword, and bear their shame with those who go down to the pit. And then here is verse 31. This is the important bit, okay? Pharaoh, he and all his army will see them, and he will be consoled for all his hordes that were killed by the sword.
We did have a question about that. We were like, why was he consoled? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, we did not understand. We thought maybe it was like a mistranslation or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is what I found about that. Okay?
Yeah.
Other nations that formerly terrified others and that Ezekiel has already denounced, such as Edom and Sidon, now lie useless and dishonored, right?
Sure.
So all of these places are like already down in the pit.
Yeah.
Okay. Egypt will finish in the same place and join them in the pit.
Sure.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
The only comfort for Egypt will be to learn that, well, it's not the only nation to suffer such a humiliating end.
Oh, that's the okay.
It's a sarcastic it's like saying, well, I got my hand chopped off, but on the bright side,
so it's a
I
brag.
still have my left one.
It's a fucking Bible brag. Like the Bible's like, you can be consoled that you're going to die like everybody else. Ha ha ha.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So Ezekiel ironically mentioned some small comfort that would come to Pharaoh on the day he entered hell. The comfort would come from knowing he was not the only one to suffer such shame and disgrace, in the judgment.
Let's clarify. Hell is not really defined as hell as we know it today.
Right.
With
right.
regard to Christianity.
The pit.
The pit.
Right.
Yeah.
So Pharaoh's going to find himself in the company of every kind of fallen greatness.
Okay.
So
this is like when we talk about hell now, we're like, well, we'll be there with some good company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be in good company.
Right.
Yeah. The prophet's declaration that Pharaoh shall see them and shall be comforted is appalling, however, as it reveals that the only comfort that can come to him is the profound sense of the operation of infinite justice in the punishment of all, himself included, who have been guilty of the abominations which have issued in the judgment of God.
Okay.
So it's not really a comfort.
Yeah.
Duh.
Okay, again, these people don't actually even believe in this God, so it doesn't really strike me as something that they are even fearing at all or give two shits about.
Right.
You know, like this is more of a brag to their own people. Like these people are going to do this and they're going to die, and like it's the same it's the same feeling I get from when someone on Twitter or something comes on one of my posts and they're like, "You're gonna burn in hell," and then it's like almost gleeful the way that they say it, right? They're like, "You are going to suffer eternally, and I'm happy about it."
Right, and it's like, okay, if I believed in that, it might be a problem, but I don't. So that's the first part. Is,
Right.
Okay, so I don't care because it's not real.
Yeah.
The second part is, wait, you're excited about that, though?
That's the part I never get. I'm like, you're a fucking Christian. You're self-proclaimed a Christian.
Yeah.
And you are gleefully accepting the fact that I will suffer for all eternity, and you seem happy about it.
Right.
That is not, it feels like your religion might have missed a step in teaching you how to care about people.
Yeah.
I'm just, maybe they didn't quite get the whole message across to you. I don't know. You don't seem very like, what people would say Christian-like.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of mean to laugh at people regardless of what they've done, but to laugh at them because they're going to suffer for eternity, according to you.
Right. If you think I had any interest in being a Christian before, you've certainly ruined anything by now.
Right.
The fact that you are this much of an asshole, it makes me think that your religion sucks,
You
dude.
don't speak well of your group over there.
Right. Yeah, you're not representing well.
Like, are you the representative that they sent to convince me? Bad. They did bad. You're the best that they could get, huh?
Yeah.
Are you God's chosen spokesperson? That makes me think that your God is crap.
To be fair, it usually happens. Not always. Sometimes they just throw it out right off the cuff, or right off the bat. But it usually happens after you've been trying to argue with them for a while, and they're like, "Well, you're going to burn in hell," and it's like, okay.
When they're like, "I can't come up with any more responses, so fuck you and die."
Right.
Forever.
Yeah.
In pain.
Like, okay, man, whatever.
Right. Like, and you're ugly too, and I fucked your mom.
I mean, that's the basically the epitome of what it means. So when they do that, that's what they're saying. So
yeah.
Only in a quote unquote biblical sense or religious sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
Moker. All right. So our next question, was that satisfactorily answered?
Yeah.
Consolation.
Insofar as, it is what it is.
It made it make more sense.
It does make more sense. Yeah. I was thinking of it as like literal interpretation.
Right.
But
instead of sarcasm.
It is more like the person yelling at me on Twitter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the quickest way I can describe it, I guess.
God be trolling.
Yeah, right. Ezekiel, whatever. Or the rewriter of Ezekiel, whoever it was, but somebody.
Somebody in the Bible be trolling.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I need that on a shirt. Bible be trolling. All right. Our next question came from Ezekiel chapter 34.
Okay.
And I'm going to, again, read a couple of verses. Number 23 and 24.
Okay.
I will place over them one shepherd, my servant David.
Yeah.
And he will tend them. He will tend them and be their shepherd. I, the Lord, will be their God, and my servant David will be prince among them. I, the Lord, have spoken.
Yeah, and we were curious about whether he knew the David line had ended. We were also curious about, like, what the fuck does that actually mean? Because a lot of people are going to tie this to Jesus, and there was lots of questions.
Or is this a re-risen David?
Right,
like,
yeah, the zombie David version or whatever. So
zombie David, pre-Jesus, or just didn't know David was dead.
Yeah, so I am very curious here.
Yeah. So David, king of Israel, had been dead upwards of 400 years at the time that this thing was said.
Can't be that David.
Yeah. And from that time till now, not now today, but now
Then.
when it was written.
Right.
There was never a ruler of any kind, either in the Jewish church or state, of the name of David.
Okay.
So when we say David,
we're speaking of
that
David and Goliath David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This then must be some typical person that they're referring to, just any old David, right?
Right.
Can't be a king. Most Christian apologists believe that this reference to David is really a reference to the Messiah, the son of David, fulfilled in Jesus Christ.
Right, and that's what I was saying that Christians would say. But I find that very not in line with what the text of the Old Testament is,
Right.
because we are literally discussing Babylon, right? The conquering happenings of Babylon. And if you take Jeremiah and Ezekiel at their word, this is what we're discussing, right?
Yeah.
And Jeremiah, at the very least, says that we are going to be held captive for 70 years. Or, the Israelites are going to be held captive for 70 years. And then they're going to return to their homeland, right?
Yeah.
And Ezekiel hints at some of the same ideas, doesn't give the 70-year deal.
Right.
But because he doesn't say that, I think that's why it's allowed to be interpreted as the line of David and later. But we are still talking about Babylon, and Babylon did not hold this conquering set
Right.
for much longer than 70 years.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense to me that this would be referencing something that happens, let's see, it would be about 600 years in the future.
Yeah. No.
And even at that, we talked about this while we were talking about this section in the Bible, and that's that even when Jesus is there in the New Testament, from what we know,
we haven't read it yet.
right, that is not a return to greatness. It is just merely Jesus came down and then died for everyone's sins.
Right.
But they were conquered by the Romans at the time. They weren't in their own land running their own show.
Right.
They hadn't done any of that. So the only thing it could really reference, if we are discussing the Jesus of the New Testament, would be the second coming, as they say, right?
Or the Jewish first coming, which hasn't happened yet because they don't believe in.
Yeah, so from a Jewish perspective, it could be the first coming, right? The whatever.
Their Messiah, as they see it.
And I could see how that could be interpreted that way or the other way, but I still feel like this is a line of David. Like, I feel like this is more in the moment, because I don't know that Ezekiel, we don't know if Ezekiel knows that the line of David is even run out yet.
That's something else that came up in my notes. He might not have known.
Yeah. So he may just assume that the line of David is going to continue,
Right.
and then whoever the next king is going to be, that will be the line of David, and that's going to continue the Israel, whatever kingdom and the
right,
all the good shit.
There'll always be a remnant hanging on through the years, and out of that will come David's whatever descendant.
Yeah. And that's how if I were to pick a version, that's the version I would say is probably most likely.
I would say either that one or belief in a future Messiah that still today in 2024 has not come.
Sure. Yeah.
Because they do believe that even today.
They do.
So
they do.
I know. That fits with their beliefs.
I know. I feel like everything that we've read in these chapters, though, in these books, Jeremiah and Ezekiel especially, have been more centered around what is happening in the very near future as opposed to the very distant future.
I agree. I agree with you on that. So to go back to where I was, Christian apologists think that David is a reference to Jesus or whatever.
Yeah.
And they would say the same of many other passages which speak of David's future rule over Israel. So basically, anytime the word David comes up, you're supposed to replace it with Jesus in a Christian mind.
I think that's probably problematic. I mean, we have referenced the David line before, and it definitely references things that were like prior to this.
Yeah.
It referenced things that we could kind of nail down as to what they probably were talking about, you know? And I feel like that might become problematic.
But anytime they're talking about future David coming back, that's Jesus.
Okay.
It's Jesus. It's Jesus. Did you know it's Jesus?
You know, if God is so prophetic and telling these people exactly what's going to happen, you think he'd be able to know the dude's name. What are you going to name your son, dude? Not son of David. It's gonna you're gonna have a name apparently. So it's going to be Jesus.
There is nothing in these texts themselves that demand that it is the Messiah and not David. So
right.
there's that.
Yeah.
Now, in this particular passage, David is not even described as a king, but in a lesser office, prince.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, but they've been using prince to describe kings throughout.
Yes.
So
Yes. The idea, again, according to a Christian apologist, is that this is when Jesus, the Messiah, is king over all the earth, and David rules Israel as a prince under him.
Oh, so like all the people are coming back. It's
Yeah.
it's not just Jesus coming back. David's going to come back with them, and maybe they'll bring Moses along.
Zombie David, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Although Moses didn't make it in because he had to stop outside of the Promised Land, so
Yeah.
maybe he can't. Maybe he can't come to the party. I don't know.
Now, here's something interesting. The word David means beloved in Hebrew. And so it had a prophetic meaning referring to the Messiah. While the term David is used in this verse, it is typically understood as a symbolic reference to a descendant of David who will fulfill the role of a shepherd over God's people.
Again, I feel like that's a very apologist take. And I think
Because
that
they did not know this as they were writing this shit.
Right. And I think there are many other ways to interpret this if you want to.
Yes.
So
I agree.
I don't like that take. I understand why that is a take, but
Yeah.
I don't like that take. So.
That take does not track. And so I understand why they say it because they're Christians and they have to, but it's stupid and ignorant.
I think that's...
Get your Bible straight, guys.
Yeah, right.
So I think you and I both agree that the most likely thing is that Ezekiel did not know that the line of David was
I think that's
done.
the most likely, yeah.
And the second one would be that they use the word David in reference to the coming Messiah, which has yet to come. The
Right.
Jews today in 2024 still believe at some point is coming.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And either of those I think are acceptable because that makes sense.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Right.
Not just in a stupid apologist way either. Like in reading the text, either of those make sense with the text.
Well, I'm going to say one more thing, and that's that if we are going to pretend that the line of David continues through Jesus or the next Jewish Messiah, right, that would mean that all of the prophets that are speaking this way understand that there is still someone that is holding to the David line somewhere out there.
Right.
Right. So if Ezekiel understood that to be the case, then he would also maybe understand that the next king of Judah or Israel would end up being someone from the David line.
Right.
Right. Whoever that may be. But I don't think that he was referencing this as a far out type of an idea.
No, I totally agree with you
So-
because their prophecies usually were within the next
Yeah, they were very
200
recent.
years.
They were very close history is what these
Yeah.
prophecies were usually referencing.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our final question came from chapter 35.
Okay.
And so I'm going to read these two verses, 1 and 2.
Sure.
The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man,
You mere human.
you fucking worm, set your face against Mount Seir, prophecy against it. And we were like, what's a Mount Seir?
And why are they mentioning Mount Seir, as opposed to Edom?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was a question I definitely had.
I didn't find a reason for them saying Edom as opposed to Mount Seir. It's just a stylistic choice of the author, which you and I both said indicates that there were multiple authors
Right.
of this particular chapter, if not the whole book.
Correct.
So I didn't find anything on that. However, I did find a little bit just about Mount Seir itself.
Okay. All right.
So on the eastern side of the Jordan River, Mount Seir was a center of the Edomites, the descendants of Jacob's brother Esau. And Edom is symbolized here by its distinctive landmark, Mount Seir. So that could be a reason why somebody would refer to it that way, because Mount Seir was how some people referred to Edom.
Got it. Okay. That makes some sense.
I
guess.
think I can understand why somebody would refer to it that way. I can't understand why Ezekiel would refer to it both ways. So I, again, think that
Different writers.
Yes,
Yeah.
at least two separate writers, and they referred to Edom and Mount Seir separately
Right.
as the same thing, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Mount Seir is the ancient and biblical name for a mountainous region stretching between the Dead Sea and the Gulf of Aqaba in the northwestern region of Edom and the southeast of the Kingdom of Judah.
Okay. All right. Yep.
It may also have marked the older historical limit of ancient Egypt and Canaan.
Got it.
So
Okay.
That whole area was either Seir or Mount Seir.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mount Seir was named for Seir the Horite, whose offspring, the Horites, had previously inhabited the area according to the book of Genesis. So we have heard of Mount Seir before.
Yeah, I definitely remember talking about the Horites.
I do not remember Mount Seir being mentioned, though.
I don't either, but I mean, that doesn't mean it wasn't there. I don't remember everything that we've read for sure.
Yeah.
And I think my biggest issue with this whole thing, this whole bit, is that we had talked about in Ezekiel already. We had talked about the Edomites, and in fact, in we just referenced them. I think in chapter 32 when they were talking about the Edomites were going to be buried with the Pharaoh and all that, right?
Yeah.
So we definitely know that they're the Edomites there. So, and when we are saying Mount Seir, we have to do one of two things. We have to either accept the fact that somebody else wrote it, or that this section in particular was on purpose being more poetic than another section and more symbolic than another section to reference something else with regard to his writing.
Yeah.
But either way, it is definitely outside of how it is normally referenced.
Correct.
With regard to the Edomites.
Yes,
So,
I agree. So I'm just going to go through a couple of other places where Mount Seir was mentioned.
Sure.
The children of Esau, the Edomites, battled against the Horites and destroyed them in the book of Deuteronomy.
Okay.
Okay. Mount Seir is specifically noted as the place where Esau made his home.
Okay.
And then in the book of Numbers, the prophet Balaam, predicting Israelite victories over the Transjordanian nations at the end of their exodus from Egypt, stated, Edom shall be a possession. Seir also, his enemies, shall be a possession.
Okay.
So, and Balaam being, of course, you know, that
the one that had the talking donkey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Mount Seir is also given as the location where the remnants of the Amalekites that had escaped were annihilated by 500 Simonites, according to First Chronicles.
Okay.
Which I do not remember at all.
I don't recall that either.
And then in Second Chronicles, the inhabitants of Mount Seir, the Edomites, came along with the Ammonites and Moabites against Jehoshaphat of Judah. However, quote, the Lord set ambushments against them, causing their forces to annihilate one another.
Got it.
And then Mount Seir is referenced in the prophetic books, is Isaiah and Ezekiel as a term for Edom.
Sure.
So this is just the first time we've caught it.
Well, it didn't, like, I do remember saying Seir at some point, but I didn't remember, like, I don't know that I put Edom and Seir together. Right. Like, that wasn't a thing that I had correlated until now. And if I did, it was only just in the moment when we talked about it the last time. So I'll probably forget this again, honestly.
Oh, sure.
But because it's not in the grand scheme of talking about what the Bible is, you know, the enemies of Israel and Judah are not really overly important to the overarching storyline. Like, we're more concerned about what God's direction for these people, his people, is, and not so much the enemies. So, like, it doesn't...
Right.
Relevancy is part of the problem as to why I don't remember some of this stuff, too.
Exactly. So there were a couple of controversies with regard to Mount Seir. Okay. First of all is its current day geography. Okay. Currently, I found two different definitive statements as to where it's located today, and both did not present it as some people believe.
Okay.
Both references were like, it is here.
Got it.
And they were factual. And I was like, wait, am I crazy, or are those two different things? And I had to check it, make sure, because I'm not familiar with the geography, right?
But they were referencing two different things?
Two different things, okay? So here's the first sentence, okay? Currently, this former territory of Edom is controlled by Jordan, okay?
Okay.
And near the border with Saudi Arabia.
Got it.
The other sentence says it is the territory of Edom is located in Syria.
Okay.
But I was like, hold on, but are Syria and Jordan, those are separate, right? They are. They're separate.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I had to check that because my American ignorance, I'm not familiar with that area at all. And I was like, well, maybe Syria's in Jordan, or maybe Jordan's in Syria. I don't fucking know.
Sure.
Maybe one's a little place and the other, like, maybe one's a city and one's a larger territory.
Right.
Like, I do not know the setup. So I had to check, and they are like right next to each other, but they are two separate areas.
Got it. Okay.
So it's in one or the other, somewhere around Saudi Arabia.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, that was the first controversy about Mount Seir. Here's another interesting take on it. there are some Christian, quote unquote, scholars who are trying to put forward the idea that Mount Seir is synonymous with Mount Sinai.
Okay. All right.
And that, Mount Sinai is the one where Moses climbed up, right? Or
oh, wow. Now you got me on the spot here. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what mountain he climbed up right off.
Because that feels wrong, and I didn't write it down because I wasn't sure I was gonna say it or not.
Right. Yeah. No, I get you. So I'm doing a quick search just to see.
Mount Sinai.
It is Mount Sinai. So
and Mount Sinai is also called Mount Horeb, which we have covered in the past.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, some people are saying that Mount Seir is the same thing as Mount Sinai. And then others are like, no, Mount Seir is just one of the peaks of the range of Mount Sinai, the range.
Okay.
And then the rest are like, the fuck are you talking about? It's not even the same. You dummy.
Yeah.
So there's like this whole like, we can't even tell you what the fuck Mount Seir is, much less where it's located.
Yeah.
So
in the general searching I was doing, they were saying that there might be like a northern mountain that might have been referred to as Mount Seir at one point, but it's not as prominent as far as like what is referenced with regard to this section of the Bible of the southern range, which is the Seir Mountains, essentially.
Well, and then there's also the fact that these people lived on like flat grounds.
Yeah.
And what did they consider a mountain?
That's a good point. Yeah, it could have just been a really big fucking hill.
I mean, I would think of a large hill as a small mountain.
Sure.
I would.
Yeah.
But that may not even exist today.
That's very true.
2,000 plus years.
They might have just called the Mount Everest "fuck you," like
right. Exactly.
I mean, if I came to that and we were trying to go through, I'd be like, "Nope, fuck you." That'd be my reaction.
Yep. Same.
We're turning back, guys. Sorry. Yep. All right, you got any other questions or answers for us?
That was my Q&A for today, not Saturday.
Okay, well, so that does it for this episode. We, I think, are going to still try to do maybe a Patreon today.
We're going to try to squeeze one out.
Whew. So we got that still coming up later today, hopefully. And then I will get the weekly wrap-up out. And then we will be back on Monday with
Ezekiel chapter 36.
All right, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep. We have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.